Hi, how's it going? So, today's video. In the comments, someone asked me if I could do a breakdown of level 3 mission running and kind of what you're supposed to do, kind of fittings and stuff like that. And more than happy to do it. Unfortunately, they weren't very specific on what type of missions. Now, I'm going to go on the basis that it's security missions, just simply because I believe that the mining missions and the logistics missions are fairly self-explanatory. Pick it up, take it to where it needs to go, drop it off, or go and mine me this much material and bring it in from a specific spot. So I don't think there's much by way of value that I can add to that. So I'm not going to cover off those kinds of missions. However, if it is something you want me to do, by all means, I'm more than happy to do it. Today's video is specifically going to be focused around level 3 missions. Specifically, the reason why I've gone for this is because currently, as of September 2020, just in case this is being watched in the future, currently at the moment, alphas only have access to level 3 missions, level 1, level 2, and level 3 missions. So this is kind of designed as your way to kind of get into that. You may be using this to fund your way into a battleship. You may be looking at using this as a supplement to making money so that you can, I don't know, fund your accounts, or just your way of having fun. So hopefully this video proves helpful, and if it does, I would really appreciate it if you could go ahead and press the subscribe button. We are very close to 1,000 subscribers. So close, it has come round so quickly, I wasn't even expecting it. So for all those that have already subscribed, I really appreciate it. And it's nice to know that there are that many people out there that enjoy this content as much as I do. So that's always good. If the video does help, like I said, hit and subscribe would be fantastic. Also, if you press the like button, it means that I know you enjoyed the content, and it means that I know maybe, can do some more of this stuff and work on other areas as well and cover those off. So today's video is going to be a 4-part video. You will notice some segments from this video in the other 3, sorry. So you may notice some of the segments from this in those as well. This was mainly just because some of the tips and the tricks that I'm going to be going through in the first video will also be applicable to the other 3. What are in those other 3? Those other 3s are the other 3 are race specific. So in this video, I'll be covering off one race. In the next one, I'll be covering off another. And basically, I'll go through Caldari, Gallente, Minmatar, and Amarr. And basically, there are fits for all 4 races in battle cruisers that are more than capable of running level 3 missions. They will also run level 2s, and if you can get them into the level 1s, they will also run the level 1s. So it is a fairly versatile ship. The issue I can only see you having with the level 1s is that I don't believe there. I think there are certain ship restrictions on those, so you may or may not be able to get into them. So yeah, that's kind of an overview of what's going to come. So the next bit is getting into the actual ship and getting ourselves set up. So we'll stop here and we'll jump over to the ship. So be right back. Ready? 1, 2, 3, go. We're using the Prophecy. This is the Amarr battlecruiser. It is a drone boat, and that's basically the way I've got this set up. All of these ship builds that I'm using, I try and make my best effort to make sure that they don't include implants. This way, there are obviously some advantages you can get from plugging those in, but for this one, there are no implants required, nor are there for any of the other builds as well. We are running Caldari missions. Unfortunately, I don't have standings for the other races, so we will be running level 3 security missions for the Caldari. So yeah, that's pretty much that. The ship itself gets a specific set of bonuses, and we'll switch scenes for this bit. The ship itself gets a specific set of bonuses, which is to drone damage and hit points. It then gets an additional bonus to drone speed as well. It does get some bonuses here as well to command bursts, but we're not utilizing that, mainly because they do require, again, a mega status for that. So we're not obviously going to be focusing on that element of the ship itself. So yeah, this is the ship in a nutshell. It's, like I said, it's a drone boat. It looks pretty cool. This is probably one of my more favorite ships for an aesthetic reason. And yeah, kind of looks like I believe the Eve term is fat turkey. So yeah, but I don't know. It kind of reminds me of an overweight bird of prey from like Star Trek or something, which I think is quite good. So yeah, this is a ship we're going to be using, and yeah, okay, let's get into the fittings, shall we? Okay, so the fittings for the ship. I've tried to keep this as simple as I can with regards to fittings. There are a couple of modules on here that are fitted for specific reasons, and I will go into that when we get to it. But this ship, as you can currently see here at the moment, is fit and ready to be used as an alpha. There is nothing in here that is not accessible to alphas, and a copy of the fit is in the description below, so by all means feel free to check that out. Currently we've got it fit with 2 drone link augmenters. This increases the range that our drones can engage out to. We've got 2 medium armor reps, a reactive hardener, and then 3 damage drone amplifiers. I couldn't think of the name. The reason why we've got an auto target system on there is because if you're using this, you actually get an additional 2 targets that you can lock, which is kind of handy. And then for momentum, we've got the 10MN afterburner, and then some modules in there to kind of keep our cap up. Because we are running Caldari missions, I have got Caldari kinetic based drones in here, mainly because we're probably going to be coming up against things that are less resilient towards kinetic damage. If you're running this in Amarr space, I highly recommend showing info on each of the various types of drones and just seeing what type of damage they do. That information is available at the bottom of the attributes on all of the drones. So when you show info on a drone, down here it shows you the damage and it shows you what type of damage they do. As you can see here, like I said, I've gone mainly for kinetic, just because the majority of the time we're going to be encountering Garistus, so this then complements that. But if you're in a Amarr space, swap it out for the versions that you're going to primarily be coming across there, or alternatively you can have a full set of all of them and then just swap out as you need to depending on the mission you're running. Now, this ship is cap stable. I have had it tested by a couple of other people as well. It's not just myself that's tested this. I've also run it past a couple of alphas. Although the capacitor recharge is a little less, it is still stable. One thing I would say is if you do find that it isn't stable, by all means, feel free to only use 1 armor rep initially. And if you start taking too much damage and you do need to evac, just initiate the 2nd armor rep, just so that you've got a bit more kind of a buffer to kind of get yourself out. So as long as you're moving though, you should be fairly fine. So yeah, that's pretty much the fitting. Like I said, it will be in the description below, along with some additional links down there, so by all means feel free to check it out. And yeah, I guess we'll get into doing some missions, shall we? Okay, so first thing we're going to do is go ahead and pick up a mission. So I'm going to start a conversation with this agent. I'm going to request a mission, and she's going to tell me what it is that she wants me to do. So this mission is called Technological Secrets, and you can see here the faction that we'll be fighting against is the Thucker tribe, which are a Minmatar based tribe. Now, for learning the specific damage types, what I recommend you do is you go to the Eve Uni website. Again, this is linked in the description, so you have got that resource there readily available. But what you want to do, go to the Eve Uni website, copy the name of the mission. If like me, sorry, not if like me. Unfortunately for myself, I am dyslexic, so if you struggle with kind of spelling and stuff like that, just go ahead and copy it. And then when you get into the Eve Uni website, you can just go ahead and paste it in the top there and then hit go. It will come up with a list of different ones, so you just select the one that is most relevant to yourself. So for us, it's the level 3 mission. So we're going to go ahead, select the level 3 mission, and it's going to tell us specifically 1, what level the mission is, 2, what type of enemies we're going to encounter, and 3, what kind of damage we're going to be encountering. So in this mission, for instance, we're going to be coming up against explosive and kinetic damage. The best damage to deal out is also explosive and kinetic. Now, the order of these two here is important, because if it says explosive and kinetic, it means that primarily they're going to be doing explosive damage. If it said kinetic and explosive, it means primarily they're going to be doing kinetic damage with some explosive damage. So depending on which one is first depends on which one they're doing more of. So bear that in mind when you are making any changes to the fits if you need to. Always tank specifically for whichever damage you're going to be encountering. In the case of the Prophecy, I've actually got a reactive hardener fitted to the ship, so we don't necessarily have to worry about it too much. But yeah, as you can see here, it gives you a breakdown of what happens in each mission, in each encounter. So in this one, the first wave at 20 kilometers will encounter 3 cruisers. In the second wave, there will be 5 frigates and 2 or 3 cruisers. Third wave, we're going to encounter 4 frigates and 1 cruiser. Fourth wave, 2 frigates, 2 cruisers, and then in the final wave, 2 frigates and 1 cruiser. And the cruiser has got a potential implant in it as well. It then goes on into explaining what you have to do for part 2 and part 3. I will do these just so that they're not bleeding over, but you won't obviously need to see that. It'll just be this first bit. So we'll go ahead and we'll jump in on this now and go from there. But yeah, Eve Uni is probably one of the most valuable resources that I can share with you with regards to understanding what needs to be done in the mission, what triggers are, and stuff like that. So we'll go ahead and we'll get this mission over and done with, and I'll see you when it's finished. Okay, let's go. One of the things that is really important when you're warping into these missions is always make sure that you've already got your tank on before you land. Make sure that your tank is active and ready to engage, because potentially when you land there could already be aggression on the field, at which point you're potentially going to find yourself in some danger. So always make sure as soon as you land, first thing you do is that by the time you've landed, that your tank is already turned on. One of the other things that I would highly recommend, make sure you've got your D-scan open. If you're not familiar with where you find this, down here next to the autopilot is a thing that says scanners. If you click this, you'll see one here that says directional scanner. If it does open up in a separate map, go ahead and just click on the square and you can actually separate this from the system map window, and then you've got it as a secondary resource here. And all I'll do is I have it set to 5 AU and I hit scan. This just lets me know if there's anything coming in that potentially is going to cause me any problems. And we'll get into why that could be an issue a little later on. So for now, we're just going to go ahead and clear these, and I'll be back with you once it's done. So, get on with it. One of the things that you have seen, one of the things that you will have noticed that I've done here is the first thing that I've prioritized is the frigates. Now the main reason for this is that because this build does depend on you having some sort of velocity, because that's going to mitigate some of the damage you've actually coming in. The idea is that if any of these frigates do actually get close enough to cause you any serious harm, more likely what they're going to do is they're actually going to web you down. So they're actually going to slow the momentum of the ship down. This can have a negative effect because the slower you're moving, the easier you are to hit. So when it comes to missions, I would always say if you've got any kind of e-war or electronic warfare, however you prefer to refer to it, but if you've got any kind of e-war on the field, always make a point of prioritizing them first, because potentially they could be the difference between you surviving the next wave and not. In this case, I believe a couple of those were actually going to web me down. So I took those out first to make sure that I wasn't going to have to encounter that issue. But depending on which faction you're going up against, if it's the Garistas, they tend to be more jamming. If it's Amarr, they tend to use target painters and tracking disruptors. No, sorry, that's the Serpentis and the Galente. So if you're going up against the Galente, they will tend to use things like sensor dampeners. If you're going up against the Minmatar Republic and stuff like that, they'll probably use things like target painters. So just be aware if there are frigates on the field and you start noticing that you've got little symbols popping up just above your capacity here. This means that they're using some form of electronic warfare on you, and this can have a negative impact. So probably best to prioritize those over other things unless you are in immediate danger and you need to just get out, in which case recall your drones and retreat. There is no shame in pulling out and kind of re-strategizing and then coming back into the mission and going for it again. It is a perfectly acceptable tactic, and can be quite handy in controlling the field as well. So just bear that in mind. Anything that you do see that pops up here, if it looks like it's impeding your ability to move by either warp scrambling or stasis webbing or target painting, make sure that you take those out first. If you start seeing jams, again, it'll look like a little crosshair that's come up. Again, make sure that they're your priority and you take those out. So yeah, that's pretty much that. So, okay, back on with the mission. And that is it. That is the mission complete. Now, this is probably one of the easier ones, but one of the things that I would highly recommend when you do get into any of these missions, always make sure that you've got your tactical overlay up. This will allow you to see what groups are currently in space. So say for instance, I'd walked in here and there was a collection of them here, a collection of them here, and a collection of them down here. I now know if I go and warp into the dead center, what's likely going to happen is that all three of these different ones that I've just engaged are more likely going to all aggress me at the same time. Now, if you control it, you can actually create it so that you can manage this group over here. So you would, when you land, you would align to this group over here, engage them first. From there, you would then move around to the second group and then finally to the third group. This means that you're controlling the amount of DPS that you're taking, and ultimately it's going to make the whole mission running experience a whole lot easier. So yeah, that's pretty much it in a nutshell. So looking at this, we got 7.5 million in loot. We're just going to stack that so we can see what we got. It looks like we got a social adaptation. I think this is the +2 or the +3? +3. So we got the +3 implant from this. That's not a guaranteed drop, so that is quite a lucky one. But yeah, we got the drop from it, which is quite nice. And yeah, total in loot is just over 7 million in loot. So we'll go ahead and we'll put that in there. One of the more handy tools that there is this thing here. It's called a mobile tractor unit. Now what you can do is you can deploy this in space. They're about 7 million ISK themselves, and once you deploy them in space, they will pull any wrecks that are currently within 125 kilometers into the mobile tractor unit itself. So as you can see here, looks like there's a lot of scrap lying around me. These are all wrecks. So if I was to start salvaging, I can do that fairly easily from here. There are some vulnerabilities with this, and I'm going to go into that later, but just be aware that this is not immune to fire and it can be scanned down. So this will be relevant a little later on, but just please bear in mind that this is not invulnerable, and if all of your stuff is inside it and someone decides to blow it up, it will be destroyed. So if someone warps into your mission, simply right click on it, scoop to cargo hold, and it's now in your cargo hold, nice, safe and secure, and they can't take it. Always make sure you loot it. If you pull the mobile tractor unit from space and it's still got stuff inside it, it'll actually jettison a container. Inside that container will be your loot. Don't forget to pick that up as well, just in case you picked it up in a hurry to stop someone from shooting at it, and then your loot is left in space. They can then go and steal whatever's in there as well. So just bear in mind, if you just pick it up from space and you haven't emptied it, all of your stuff will be jettisoned into a container into space, which is free for someone to come along and take. So yeah, other than that, that is mission running in itself. It's more about control than it is anything else. This tank that I've made is fairly versatile with regards to what it can do. Like I said, it was built primarily with alphas in mind. If you are further on and you have got accessibility to maybe the Tech 2 augmented, the Tech 2 drone link augmenters, or you can, you've got more fitting windows that you've got available, then by all means feel free to upgrade this as you see fit. But as it is, this fit as a standard fit will run most, if not all, of the level 3 missions. You may come across a couple that you'll struggle with, and you'll have to play in and out with them. So you'll go in, you'll kill a few, you'll warp out, you'll repair the ship for whatever damage you've got, and then you'll come back in, rinse and repeat. There are a couple of those where you might encounter that, but as far as I know, there aren't that many. And as long as you are following the information that's on Eve Uni, it will let you know if there are any triggers, and you are fairly safe in the knowledge that potentially is not going to end up being an issue. So that's pretty much it for mission running. So we'll go ahead, we'll go to the station now and we'll turn this in, and I will give you a bit of background on why people tend to do mission running. So yeah, let's go back to the station, shall we? I'm about to give you some of the most valuable advice I can think of giving you, and it's this. You are at some point going to encounter griefers while running your missions. What's going to happen is they're going to scan down either your MTU or your ship, at which point they're going to warp into your mission, and they're either going to shoot your MTU or they're going to start looting your wrecks. You are going to feel tempted to shoot them because they're potentially going to be in something much smaller than you, maybe in a frigate, maybe in a rookie ship, maybe in a hauler. You don't know, but ultimately they're going to come into your mission and they are going to do something to initiate aggression. If you fire on them, you are essentially opening up combat on yourself because you activate what is called an aggression timer. This is a 15-minute window where that pilot that has walked into your mission and engaged your mobile tractor unit or stolen your wreck or whatever they've done to engage you in combat, they have got 15 minutes where they can come and actively shoot you. If you engage them, they will 9 times out of 10 either A, warp off and reship, or B, let you destroy them and then warp off and reship. At which point they will come back in a much bigger ship that is more than prepared and ready to kill you. The main reason that they're able to do this is because most of the time when they land into the mission, they've got 2 modules fitted to their ships. The first one is a ship scanner, the second one is a cargo scanner. The reason why they have these 2 modules fitted is because it will give them a complete picture of what you've got fitted to your ship, what ammo you're carrying, and how much capacity you've got available. This gives them an idea of how they need to tank their PvP ship before they come in and relieve you of your ship. They can also do a bit of background checking on you by putting your character's name into things like Zkill and into Eve Who. This will give them a bit of background into your character's PvP capabilities, age, skill history, ship types that you've used, recent losses, recent kills. This gives them a picture of your capabilities as a pilot and as a player. At that point, you're potentially in a lot more trouble because you don't know anything about them. They know everything about how you're fitted, how you're fitted, how stable your tank is, what ammo you've got, and what your experience in PvP is. So the easiest way to avoid this situation, don't engage them. If they shoot your MTU, let them shoot your MTU. If you've got enough time to scoop it before they destroy it, go ahead and scoop it. But if not, let them destroy it. If they decide to loot the wreck that you need to complete the mission, just abandon the mission. It's not worth losing your ship over for the sake of your ship. It's not worth losing your ship over for the sake of the mission. So just let them do whatever they're going to do. If they want to go and steal the wreck, let them steal the wreck. If they want to blow up the MTU, let them blow up the MTU. Just simply warp out of the mission, return to the station, and abandon the mission. One other thing that they will tend to do, and you would be surprised how often this happens, is say hypothetically you run a mission and you've got to collect a report, you've got to collect a passenger, you've got to collect something. There is something physical that you need to earn from this mission, and it's in one of those wrecks. What they'll do is they will find the item that you've got that you need to complete your mission, and they will take it. They'll then go back to station and put it on the market for an exorbitant amount of money. So say for instance, the mission requires you to turn in a scientist. Well, now they've just stolen the scientist, so you can't possibly turn in that mission. You then look on the market to see if there's one available, and oh look, there's one on the market for 100 million ISK. This is them selling your mission loot back to you. Don't spend your money. Don't hand over any money for any reason whatsoever. Just abandon the mission and move on. If you abandon more than 2 missions an hour, you will take a standing hit with that specific faction. Now that sounds like a bad thing, but you can make that standing back up within 4 or 5 missions. So for the sake of losing your ship, it's not really worth it. If you are messaged by anyone that tells you that they are part of an organization that enforces the rules of Eve, and they go by their ruler called James, I'm sure a few of you have already worked out who I'm referring to, but for the sake of this, I'm not going to give them the advertisement. If you are messaged by someone and they say to you, if you want to continue running missions, you have to buy a permit and then paste this into your bio. Don't buy the permit. They are talking out of their backsides. There is no benefit to you handing them money. They do not honor those things. It is just them trying to scam more money out of you. Do not hand over any money to anyone unless you are getting something physical in return, i.e. they are handing you a ship that is worth the value that you're paying for it. They're handing you modules, they're handing you ammo, whatever the case may be, unless there is a transaction happening where you are getting something that is not a made-up permit, don't hand them money, okay? It's the only bit of advice that I can give you that hopefully is going to make this whole experience a little easier, because the amount of times that I've heard from someone where they've said, you know, I was running missions and I got ganked because someone came into my mission, they were flashing, I shot them, and then I died. And that was the only ship I had. It's not worth losing your stuff over. If someone comes in and takes your stuff, someone comes in, shoots your MTU, leave them to it. Just warp out, go and cancel your mission, pick up a new one, and carry on. Let them have their little bit of fun. The other thing that I would suggest, don't type in local. That's what they're waiting for. They get off on that kind of thing. They're jonesing for that thing. They want you in local going, you're a big horrible person and you shot my stuff and now I've lost my ship. And they feed on it. So don't give them the ammunition that they need. Just move on. It's not that big of a deal. Okay? Hopefully this helps. Hopefully this is going to stop some of you from losing ships. I know inevitably there's going to be someone out there that's going to think, it's fine, I can take them. You can't. You will not win that fight. 100% of the time you will not win that fight, because they are more than prepared for whatever you've got hiding up your sleeve. So just be aware, be safe, and enjoy your missions. Okay? Right, let's get on with it. Okay. So we're back at the station and we're ready to turn in our mission. So we'll go ahead and we'll start a conversation with the agent. And they're going to say, okay, congratulations, you have completed the mission. Thank you very much for this. Here is your money and here are your loyalty points. If you've managed to complete it within the allotted time that they give you, you also get a bonus. So in this case, we're going to get an additional 364,000. The main reason that people tend to run missions is not necessarily for the financial reward that you get directly from sort of bounties and mission payouts. Don't get me wrong, in some cases they can be quite substantial, but in the main, the reason that people tend to run these is for the loyalty points. Now, the reason why they run them for the loyalty points is because you can actually redeem these for physical items or blueprints, and you find that just by clicking on the loyalty point store up here in the left, in the right hand column. In here, you'll see a breakdown of different things that you can redeem. So depending on how many points, as you can see here, I've got 277,000. I haven't done much with this faction, so yeah, I've got 277,000. That's enough for me to redeem one of these. So if I was to pick, I don't know, let's go for this one. So I'd say, for instance, I was to pick the EO 605 capacitor systems operation implant. Now, I can use that myself, which would be fantastic, but the main reason that people do this is because they've got a retail value. Okay, I've picked one that isn't being sold at the minute and no one's buying it. Let's go for the torpedoes one. So this one gives a 5% bonus, and again, I picked one that doesn't have one. Light missiles. There we go. Okay, so someone is currently selling this in system for 160 mil. They may just be being very optimistic, but down here you can see that someone is willing to buy them for 1.6 million. Now, given the fact that they cost 76 million each, I'm more inclined to think that this figure here is a little more accurate. So if I wanted to, I could redeem 2 of these and then claim the points for them. In fact, I've got enough to claim 3 of them, so I could claim 3 of those and then turn that in for what would essentially be 460 million ISK. So that's ultimately the reason why people tend to run missions, is 1 for the standings, 2 for the loyalty points, and 3 then for any additional ISK that they're generating from it. So yeah, hopefully that's been helpful. Now, like I said, below the video itself, you'll find a number of different resources. The first one that you'll find is the fitting to this ship. That will be located on the Eve workbench. If you're not familiar with how to use this, it's fairly simple. All you need to do, go ahead and I'll give you a live demo of it now. So all you need to do is you go to we'll pick the Vexor for now. So you go to the workbench, so you click on it. It's obviously going to bring up the prophecy. In this case, it's bringing up the Vexor because I haven't posted the fits yet. You click on where it says EFT. So you click here where it says EFT. You click in the center here, Control A, and then copy to clipboard. Fitting has now been copied to your clipboard. You can now close this, minimize your window, and if you open up the fittings window in the game, down here, you see a button. So if you select browser, down here where it says import and export, if you press import and click on import from clipboard, it will actually import the entire fit into the game, ready for you to save, simulate, or buy all, depending on what you're looking to do. I'd recommend saving it just in case you do lose the ship. You've got easy access to get it again. However, obviously you can just bookmark the Eve workbench if that's easier, and just import it whenever you need to. So that's how you would recover the fitting. But like I said, links for that, Eve Uni, and a couple of other things will also be in the description below as well. So feel free to check those out. And that's pretty much it. That is mission running level 3 style in a prophecy. So yeah, hopefully that has been helpful. And that is mission running. That is it. That is everything you need to know when it comes to running level 3 missions. Like I said, utilize the resources with regards to the Eve Uni link. It will give you the best possible advice when it comes to running missions. I could sit here and run through all the different varieties of missions that there are. Unfortunately, we would be here for ages because there are hundreds, literally hundreds of different types of missions. So the best advice I can give you is use the Eve Uni website, paste the mission in there and look at what it tells you to do. Keep an eye on any triggers, and any that you do come across, if there are triggers there, make sure you leave them till last. With regards to target priorities, if you've got, say, frigates in there and you know for a fact that it says that they're going to be potentially warp scrambling you or stasis webbing you, make them a priority unless they're the trigger. Never get yourself into too much of a fight. If you need to, by all means, feel free to warp out. And don't forget, with regards to the griefers and PvP stuff, again, if someone warps into your site, it's not worth your ship to engage them, so just don't, okay? And that's it. Hopefully this video has proven helpful to you. If it has, please hit the subscribe button. Like I said earlier, we are so close to the 1,000 mark. It is unreal. I don't know what we're going to do yet. So again, if you've got any suggestions for what we should do for the 1,000 mark, let me know. Again, if it's been helpful, hitting the like button really helps. It means that I know it's worked. I know it's helped you. And on the same point, it means that you're enjoying the content, and I can keep doing more of it. So with that in mind, if you have got any questions, feel free to drop them in the comments, or you can join the Discord. The links for that are in the description below. You can also join me on stream. I stream every Thursday, Friday and Saturday, starting at 7:30 UK time. And yeah, we do PvP on Fridays, and we do ISK making stuff on Saturdays. So feel free to stop by on whichever one of those days is most appropriate. Thursdays is more my day to kind of just sit and chill out and chat with people, answer questions, maybe play a couple of games of Need for Speed or Forza or whatever kind of feels like it'll be fun that day. So yeah, if you've got any questions, please by all means feel free to stop by with the stream. And yeah, that's it for me. I'm off, and I will see you all on the next one. Until then, have fun, fly safe, and don't do anything I wouldn't do, which, I'll be honest with you, doesn't leave you with a lot. Enjoy. Bye.